Well, in the broader statement, anybody can do it. It just takes money and time. I think that it also takes a lot of motivation. There's a lot of work involved. You know, there's a step-by-step process that if you follow that, you can achieve your goal fairly easily, but it's still a 1.5 to 2 year process from the time you say, I want to be in the car wash industry, to the time that you have an operating car wash. And you just got to stick with it. There's a lot of obstacles. You know, getting money currently is not that difficult, but you still have to be able to have a certain amount of equity that you can put up, because banks are going to want you to put up 20% if you do an SBA loan. You know, typically, as long as you can pull together about $600,000 worth of equity, then you can get in the car wash business. Now, it's interesting, different banks require different things. Some banks will say, oh, you've fulfilled everything in our application except one thing, you don't have any experience, so we don't want to give you the loan. And there's ways around that. You can always have somebody with experience added to your resume to overcome that issue, and the bank will allow you to do that for 1 year or 2 years, having that person on your team. But ultimately, it's just a matter of sticking to it. You may have to go to a dozen banks before you find a yes. You know, not all banks like car washes, just like not all banks like coffee shops. You know, they all have their own little niche. They like their portfolios to be diverse. Maybe they have too many car washes, or they've never done one. The other challenge is land development and dealing with permitting and zoning. So, you know, water is becoming more of a premium. More municipalities are being stretched with their capacities, and they're asking for more and more specifics on how you manage your water. Oftentimes they'll say, oh, we don't do car washes, you use too much water, which is a complete misnomer. It's actually not true. I mean, we use 12 gallons of water per car here. So, you know, they think car washes use 50, 80, or 100 gallons of water per car, so they automatically say we don't have the capacity. You can go closed loop zero discharge and not even have to deal with a municipality as an option. So there's always a way to skin that cat, as long as you go into it with your eyes open and you have somebody that knows what they're doing, kind of holding your hand through that process. I think that's the most important thing, is for a new investor to have somebody that understands the industry to help walk them through it, help them avoid the pitfalls and the mistakes that happen along the way. You know, buying a property, so, you know, if you're on a 2-lane highway with a median and there's no way to cross over from the opposite traffic lane, and you got to go to a light and do a U-turn, you know, that's a challenge. So, you know, we had that problem here, and we were able to get the city to cut in a dedicated left-hand turn. We had to give a little bit for that. We built a manhole for the 3 businesses on this side of the street, and we paid for that in order to get the left-hand turn. I can assure you I've benefited much more from that left-hand turn than I did from the cost of that manhole. Some municipalities or state road organizations will or will not do that. You just got to ask. And then there's you know, working with people that have built car washes before. Experience counts. You know, electricians and plumbers are your 2 key trades. And if they've never done a car wash before, they won't know what they're doing, because our stuff goes both directions. You know, I like to say plumbers know 3 things. Water flows downhill, don't bite your fingernails, and payday's on Friday. Our water flows in every different direction, and we have multiple different kinds of water. And so when we say we need this here and this here, they're like, I don't understand that. Or We tell them to put in our reclaim tanks a certain way, and then they do it their own way. And nobody inspects that. Well, you know, once you pour concrete over that, that mistake's done. So you got to be able to stay on top of that and mitigate those kind of errors. You know, commercial electricians tend to do outlets and light switches and ballasts and basic install of high voltage electrical. They don't deal with low voltage controls, certainly not controllers, and how to wire a motor control center, how to do that kind of stuff. So it's being able to bring people together that can understand and work together to mitigate the extra cost of the bid for the electrician who's just trying to cover his tail. Same thing with the plumber. You know, they add $50,000 to it because they don't know exactly what they're doing. Working with people that understand that stuff is important.